I was just thinking about this idea a couple minutes ago while I was just scrolling through Instagram about how all the old emo kids are now officially happy hippies. We made it, baby. It's really funny, actually, you know, and I think, I remember thinking back into my life, like I was a dedicated emo kid. I just remember being depressed to the point of suicidal thoughts, and I could do nothing but kind of just sit in my room with the blinds closed, listening to Dashboard Confessional or Cute Is What We Came For, or Taking Back Sunday, or just all these old sad bands. I don't even know what I was sad about, you know? I lost a couple friends. One of my friends actually did kill himself when I was really young, and that threw me in a spiral. But I think it really comes from is not having, we don't have the proper ways, we don't have the proper teachers integrating us into life and how to handle real situations. We're really catered in America. And I live in Detroit, you know, we're confronted with a lot of stuff where I live. Ever since I was a kid, I've seen poverty and drug addicts and homelessness, and so it's like I'm not unfamiliar to this kind of stuff, but we don't have the right teachers to teach us how to deal with death, or teach us how to deal with the idea that it's all temporary, or to teach us how to just deal with real life situations. How to deal with real life situations. They got us taking tests on if Jose and Angela, if they take away a couple bananas, how many apples do they have? It's just like, my friends are hooked on heroin. It's just hard. It's just hard being human, you know? Whether you're in like a physically bad situation, or you're a rich person in a great situation, you're gonna find yourself being dragged through the mud. You know, life. That's just what life does to a lot of us. We don't know who we are, and we cling to all these different identities and attach ourselves to all these different statuses and symbols. And when we discover their temporariness, it shatters us a little bit, you know, because we attach our identities to that. And when it's faulty, when our identity can get snatched away from us, you know, in an instant, then it makes us, who are we? We don't know who we are. So we get lost in a kind of, you know, just jumping from attachment to attachment. I'm rambling a little bit, but I want to get back to the emo thing because I think it's really funny. I just remember listening to all these old songs, and it's so funny to me to look back at it now and look at like a Dashboard Confessional song, for example, as being a kind of guru to me in a way. It was just like, okay, you have these emotions you don't know how to process. I'm gonna sing to you, child. One day you'll wake up. All of these emo songs were just gurus the whole time, guiding us towards our awakening. This whole time I thought I was running away from my sadness. It was actually guiding me towards who I actually am, and towards deeper parts into myself, showing me parts of myself that needed healing. That's really what sadness is about, you know? Sadness is like a spotlight being beamed into the parts of you that need healing, that need your attention. You know, if you have green grass everywhere and you just have a huge pile of dirt right in the middle, you can't miss that huge pile of dirt. It demands attention just by the fact that it's a huge pile of dirt in the middle of nice grass. And that's kind of what sadness is. And a lot of time you don't want to shovel the goddamn dirt. You don't want to shovel the goddamn dirt. Or you can imagine it as a big pile of shit, if that helps you. We don't want to shovel shit. We'd rather just lay in grass. But sometimes we, you know, because we think we are these bodies, and these bodies require so much emotional dependence that we get lost in it. Yeah, we get lost in it sometimes. And it's overwhelming, and it's, you know, before we know it, we have piles of shit all over the place. And yeah, I think it's really nice to look at sadness as being kind of like this bodyguard that has been defending you this whole time, you know? It's been like, because look at the ego. You can look at the ego like this, actually. The ego, when you're a little kid, you hardly have an ego, right? I mean, you have some sense of I, where you need to eat, and you like toys. So you have a very elementary ego. You don't have so many judgments about what other people wear or what you're wearing. You just kind of want to enjoy and lay in the grass. But then as life takes over, you start attaching stuff to you. You get hurt. That's one wall you build up right there. So you have a wall built up. You get hurt again. That's another wall. And then, by the time you're 20, you have all these walls built up. And you can't just lay in the grass anymore because you have all these piles of shit in front of you. And, because we all have piles of shit, we are trying to toss it off to other people. And it's just this infinite tossing back and forth. And we're just lost in this kind of cycle of echoing of hurt. Hurt people. So I think that's a lot of what life is this kind of echoing of pain from our parents to us, from our cultures to us. Culture is like a mountain of pain, and it echoes out into all of us. What I'm trying to say is that these walls that you build up, or that people call the ego, and everyone wants to destroy it. Everyone looks to kill the ego. I think this is the wrong perspective to have, because if we examine the ego in this kind of way, as in all these walls that you built up, you get hurt so many times, you turn into an asshole. You have all these walls built up. So this ego that gets collected through people just throwing their shit in our yard, it's a bodyguard defending you. You have this huge bodyguard just pushing all these people away from you in the form of maybe anger or whatever, however you get triggered, And it acts like that. It comes in the form of anger because it's unloved, because we look at it as being a bad thing. We look at all these walls that we've built up as being this kind of shelter from the world, keeping us away from everything. But it keeps us in a vulnerable position of, it keeps us in a state, of defensiveness rather than a state of love. And I think that when we can look at the ego as just being this kind of loving figure that's been just pushing the world away from us in attempts to save that kid, that kid that was just playing in the grass, now is growing up and facing the world and has to build all these walls. That's what the ego is. It's defending you. It's the wall defending you from the world that you've turned into an enemy because you didn't understand, because we don't have the right teachers to teach us these things. Culture doesn't teach us these things. Culture gives us all these identities of you're this and you're that, and pins us against each other and gives us all these narratives to play out. I'm a Democrat, I support Trump, and we get lost in these fake illusions when who we are is so mysterious and so deep that we can hardly admit it. So what I'm saying is that shout out to all my emo homies out there that made it to the other side. All you happy hippies out there. This is proof. We are proof that sadness is temporary, and all things are temporary, and that you can be transformed and that you can overcome things. I think that's what we are ultimately proof of, because man, there's points in my life I didn't think I'd make it, and I'm still here, baby. Still rocking it. Still rocking it, pimps. And you guys are still here too. So we did it. Yeah, so I don't know, that's this video. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I was just thinking about that, and I just wanted to kind of get it off my chest, so I turned the camera on. I don't know if you guys like this shirt, but I made this shirt. It's on my website, Stay Happy, Stay Weird. It says, reality is an illusion. That's kind of what we're talking about. It's all temporary. And yeah, Stay Happy, Stay Weird. Head over to there, and you can use code A Place for Humans for 10% off. And if you like this blanket, I've been rocking this blanket as my backdrop lately. I bought some of these from Mexico, and you can buy one of them that I brought home. I carried it all the way home with me. It was a pain, but yeah, check it out. Links in the description. See you guys next time.